All right, good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Atchison County Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 12th. I'd like to call the meeting to order and our county clerk will provide roll call. He will be back shortly.
So Commissioner Quinn,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Knoll. We'll be right here.
Yeah. He is. Roll call. You're up.
Commissioner Knoll. Commissioner Knoll.
Are you here? Here.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, we do not have an invocation scheduled for today, so if you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, public comment. Being none. Okay. Approval of the agenda. I have one addition to the agenda, which is a road and bridge purchase order to BG Consultants. Other than that, I would look for a motion to approve this week's agenda.
So move. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Passes 3-0. We have the commission meeting minutes from last week and then the finance director review.
Good morning.
Morning.
So last week there was a special AP run done for Thursday, August 7th for $3,858.62. It was paid out of the IT department for VMware licensing that you guys had approved at the Tuesday, August 5th meeting. There was some timing issue where the licensing was getting ready to expire by the end of that week. So we sent it through payment, which is in your packet for today to review. Payroll for the Friday, August 15 check date is $183,010.59. The expenses, the accounts payable run for Wednesday, August 13th is $134,899.21. And out of that total, credit cards was $1,609.38. And there's no negative cash balances.
Thank you.
Thanks.
With that, I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda for this week.
So move. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Passes 3-0. Okay, next commissioner comments. Commissioner Campbell.
Don't have anything today.
Okay, Commissioner Knoll.
I had a area agency on aging meeting last Thursday. And I didn't realize I am going to be term limited out off of that committee. So they had a 6-year deal. So I've got one more month there. So I think we'll have to. In the past, it was at one time it was Peggy House that held this position. It wasn't necessarily a commissioner. So I think we need to have a discussion whether we wanted to keep it within the commissioner or have someone else appointed. Maybe get letters of interest like we do other things. So that's something we need to put maybe on the agenda for next week. We want to have a discussion about that. It's been a ride with them trying to get that building built and everything, and then I'm going to leave before they get it done. So it's been a very good committee to be on.
just congrats to everyone that was involved on the Atchison County Fair for 2025. Commissioners, Register of Deeds, and the clerk, and thank you to Lewis Chevrolet for allowing us to borrow the pickup truck. We all attended the fair and it was a lot of fun. So thanks for all the hard work and congratulations to all of the kiddos for their wins. Road and Bridge purchase order.
So this purchase order is to BG Consultants out of Manhattan. It's professional architectural engineering services. For the road and bridge facility. During the month of June, BG Consultants worked 25% on drawing development, had a design review meeting, and are progressing towards 50% design development by July 14th. So, I think they are a month behind on billing, so this is for August, for July and June's billing. So this total is $16,150. We've already paid $21,496. The original contract balance is $62,800. So after this payment, we would still owe $25,154. This will be paid out of Senior Village sale proceeds.
Look for a motion to approve the purchase order as presented by our finance director.
So moved.
I will second. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Passes 2-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, first up, we have Mr. Henderson with the county counselor for the review of resolution on RHID and NRP amendment.
Yeah, several years ago, Atchison County adopted a neighborhood revitalization plan, which allows for a partial rebate of ad valorem property taxes for qualifying projects. The applicant, the homeowner, the landowner has to file an application, and if approved, there's a partial rebate of the taxes that are increased because of the increase in value of the property. That difference is called the tax increment, and that increment is given back to the landowner for a period of time, or a portion of it is given back to the landowner for a period of time as an incentive to create investment. We recently discovered that the city of Atchison created a reinvestment housing incentive district, RHID, pursuant to Kansas law. This RHID system uses that same tax increment to reimburse the developer for costs related to infrastructure to the development area. So for the cost of building roads and sewers and things like that. And so that is the tax that's attributable to the increase in value in the property is being rebated under state law and under this program to the developer until all of the project costs related to the infrastructure are paid back. And this has caused a bit of an issue to come up, and that is if a property that is located within the RHID district later applies for inclusion within the neighborhood revitalization program, we have an issue as to how to handle that administratively. And the problem is that you can't rebate the same money twice. And so under the RHID program, those funds are given back to the developer, but under the neighborhood revitalization program, they would go to the landowner. As we addressed it, we had one property, I think, that's within the RHID where the landowner has applied for inclusion in the neighborhood revitalization program. That's still at the early stages. In discussing this with county staff, we identified there are a couple other projects or programs available at the state level that might also be impacted, none of which are currently popular in Atchison County. I don't know that they've been used, well. I don't know that any of those are in play right now, but there's also something called tax increment funding or TIF. And then there's also industrial revenue bonds that have a payment in lieu of taxes component with them. And there are a couple of those projects, but I think they're not on neighborhood revitalization. But my suggestion was that we look at making sure that it's clear to the public that if a property is included within an RHID or a TIF zone or receiving IRBs, that the property would not be eligible for the neighborhood revitalization program. And then also looking at the end of the RHID, that is when the project costs for infrastructure have been paid back, if there's still years available for the incentive, they may be able to participate in the NRP, but only after the RHID has been fully paid off. But under our program, they would still need to apply at the outset before they begin construction on it. So we also had a little bit of discussion with county staff that there are some other tax incentive programs that would not be affected by this. And those are things like historic preservation tax credits and even an economic development exemption. And those are not included because those don't deal with any rebate of the tax increment. Those are generally done with income taxes, and particularly federal income taxes. So as part of this process, the county appraiser has suggested that their office will amend the application that we use to, because we don't currently ask about what other tax incentive programs they're participating in. So we're going to add that question to make sure that we don't run into a situation where the same increment is being promised to two different people. Also, when we adopted the neighborhood revitalization plan, we went through a process of an interlocal agreement. So there were several townships that also joined in. The school boards in both Atchison and Effingham joined in. The city of Atchison, city of Effingham, I think all of the cities, city of Huron, city of Muskota, all joined in. This change in the neighborhood revitalization program will not require a modification of the interlocal agreement. Our interlocal agreement says that we'll have a program that's substantially in conformance, in substantially the form and content. We say that again, in substantially the form and content of a document that's attached to that interlocal agreement. This is not a change that alters the substance of that plan, so there's no amendment that's necessary. What we're proposing is that in part 7 of the neighborhood revitalization program, which deals with the criteria used to determine properties eligible under the Atchison Neighborhood Revitalization Program, that 2 new paragraphs be added at the end. There are currently 18 paragraphs, and we would add 2 more. One is, which would be the new paragraph 19, the neighborhood revitalization plan provides for a partial rebate of ad valorem property taxes resulting from improvements. That rebate is calculated using the tax increment, which is the increase in property taxes attributable to the difference between the pre-improvement and post-improvement assessed valuation. Other economic development programs may also utilize or affect the same increment. Those programs include, without limitation, the Reinvestment Housing Incentive District Program under K.S.A. 12-5241 at SEC, the tax increment financing under K.S.A. 12-1770 at SEC, and industrial revenue bonds under K.S.A. 12-1740 at SEC. A property may not simultaneously receive NRP benefits for any tax years during which its increment is being captured, reimbursed, or exempted by any other program. The second paragraph would be properties located within the boundaries of an RHID TIF district or subject to an active IRB exemption may become eligible for NRP participation only to the extent the other program has been satisfied, expired, or terminated, and the property otherwise qualifies under the plan. If a property subject to one of these programs applies for NRP benefits and the other program is expected to conclude during the potential NRP rebate period, the property may become eligible only after the other program has fully ended and the tax increment is no longer being captured or reimbursed. Eligibility for NRP in those later years remains subject to all other plan requirements, including timely application, minimum investment thresholds, and compliance with valuation standards. In no event shall the years of NRP eligibility extend or be deferred due to participation in another program. The rebate period shall begin and end according to the schedule set forth in this plan without regard to any overlap with other increment-based incentives. So those are the two paragraphs that we're suggesting to add to our neighborhood revitalization plan.
So, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna call for a motion.
Oh.
You have a motion.
So the way I got that interpretation would be that you couldn't participate in both, but only after one program was completely exhausted, they could be
Yeah,
approved for another. Well, that would have to be NRP first because that has to be started before the project is started. They have to be signed up for that, so that couldn't be second. I was just
they
wondering
have to sign up before they begin construction. So
Mhm.
I don't know how many years it will take before the RHID pays off the infrastructure upgrades that they're making. And I suppose that depends a great deal on how fast their properties sell and how fast they're improved. But if, for example, it's going to be 10 years, and if our rebate program goes for 7 years, if somebody is maybe if the program is 5 years into the RHID, they could still apply for the neighborhood revitalization program if we had a 7-year payback, but they'd only get those last 2 years. Because the first ones, the increment is being sent to the developer and not, so it's not available to be rebated.
Okay, I had a question on that also. Say like in year 7, the NRP payback would be 30% or 30% of that amount. Could they be claiming the other 70 could go to the other program because that's not being claimed? There's 70% that's not being sent to the NRP.
Under the program, under the RHID program, if you will, 100% of that increment goes to them until they're paid off. So I don't think that situation would ever come up because the RHID is always going to get the incentive until their program is completed.
Wait, I was thinking of the NRP first.
Yeah, we don't
And-
have any, if a taxing entity developed a new RHID and there was property in that district that was already in our program, I'm really not sure how that would work, but I would think that our program would continue to pay the increment to the landowner. But if it comes up, we'll have to address it for sure.
Okay. I was just wanting to make sure that they couldn't basically claim anything that wasn't being rebated to the landowner would then be like the other portion that's not being directly to the landowner could then be a portion to the developer.
Yeah, my understanding with the RHID is that the owners of the land have to consent to it. That is, I don't believe that you can have property involuntarily added to a district. And so in that situation, the landowner would have had to sign off on. the application to be placed into the RHID, so it wouldn't be against their will, it'd be their decision to make.
I have a question. Yeah, so if the 2 remaining years that you put. Hypothetically, that a property could potentially be on, would that be then year 1 and 2 of their
No.
NRP, or would that be year
No, they'd be the
8,
last,
9, or
yes,
the
they'd be
last?
the last years, whatever.
So whatever
year
that
on the
percentage
program.
is, it's
Yes.
the lower percentage, they're not starting out at the beginning with the.
Right.
So clarification on that, because that was one of my questions of, I know how the NRP works and you have to start with a baseline, right? Like either nothing done or the status of the home currently and then the increases. So how would you be able to finish out 2 years when like you would have had to sign up for the NRP at the beginning? It would sit idle until, okay, so they can still do it. It just sits idle during that period. Because that would make sense. Otherwise, I was like, how do you just get to capture 2 years without a baseline? So,
Yeah, well, we were trying to, particularly looking at the final years of the RHID and say if there was only maybe 1 or 2 years left, that I could see a landowner would really want to participate in our program as well. And we didn't want to just simply exclude any of those properties from the program. So that's a policy decision. It could be changed, but that's what we thought was the better way to handle it as staff. So
and so within that district, if it's 25 years, they could change hands and ownership. But the tax RHID stays the same until fulfilled.
yes,
Okay.
and a landowner who's buying property there should be able to determine that it's in an RHID before they purchase. So they should know what they're getting into.
That would be like on the deed or something.
It should be on the title report.
Okay.
It wouldn't be on the deed. If they do the title report, do a title search, they should find it is.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I would look for a motion to approve the 2 paragraph additions for the appraiser to make the changes to the application questions as presented by our county counselor. I have a motion to approve.
So move.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. All right. Next, you have that in a minute, right? Since there's nothing really we're signing. Okay. Okay, next we have discussion with treasurer and county clerk on motor vehicle processing. Those emails up so I know it. You guys want to provide a snapshot of this while we're pulling up the info?
So you want to do it, or you want me to? Go ahead. Okay, so, basically. Motor vehicle transactions are started and processed in the treasurer's office, and then. They are sent over to the clerk's office to upload to the state, one of them. The other one is also uploaded, but they're coming over with errors, and the treasurer's office has worked to. That's taxing unit errors. The treasurer's office has worked really hard to get a number of them fixed and updated. But there's pretty consistently still more, so.
And let me just correct you.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, go
You're-
ahead.
What you guys are doing with it is you're preparing it for the distribution. to
Okay.
entities.
One of them we upload to. ATI or whatever, because when I go to upload it, it'll pop back and say, can't upload.
That you're just uploading it
Yeah.
to our internal ATCI so that we can distribute it.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's K covers RV and motor vehicle,
Mhm.
and we are. In our office process, we collect the property tax for those. And then they need to be distributed to the different entities such as the school districts, townships, et cetera.
Right, so with the incorrect taxing units, they're not gonna get distributed to the. Correct. Gonna get distributed correctly, so, the core of the issue is that. the fix that we're doing on our side. In order to be able to push everything through, because it comes back and says, nope, can't do it. Those taxing units don't exist. And so the fix that we're doing in the clerk's office is just a temporary fix. To just get it so that, yes, we can process it through, so that that customer who comes back in next year, we're gonna have to do the fix again. And again, and again, and again. It doesn't permanently fix them in our system. So.
In ATCI, because it's correct in movers, because obviously we're able to charge the correct property tax. Even if it goes over as a zero, I think it's a programming issue with ATCI and everything. Just lack of updating and things.
So, it's pretty extensive. If you look at this is since May. Everything highlighted is one that needed correcting. So I think that the conversation is, do we keep going forward with this process? Which it's redundant, right? Annually redundant.
Yeah, is there any way of plugging in those temporary fixes once they're corrected, so then the next year we don't have to recorrect them?
They're correct in movers, so it's somewhere in ATCI, somewhere there. And it's, unfortunately, this is something that it's just always been that way. And it's that way across the state for other treasurers' offices and clerks' offices, but it just. I don't know why those aren't sticking, but it's not in movers, it's somewhere in the conversion between all of the programs.
What is ATCI?
That's our CIC program that we use for some of the daily stuff, and then also like it pulls the motor vehicle information in from movers so that we can complete the distribution.
Did you ever submit that for maybe a correction with CIC? Because isn't there a process that when we need a new program or we need a correction or something with CIC, we propose that? And
Yeah, I think that maybe if it's right in movers, then maybe it's worth placing a support ticket with CIC.
And I think Linda did years ago, and I think it has been done, and they say they don't know what it is. I know they've lost support for ATCI,
Mhm.
but I mean, we could sure try it again, but.
Because if it's, so what happens is in ATCI, we download a file from the state. So if the file from the state is incorrect, but it's right in the mover system, that's where it originates from. If it's right there, then it should be right all the way through. So it must be the lacking when they download it from the state in the morning to put it into the ATCI system.
Lost it.
It's lost it.
It could be the state system, it could be ATCI.
Yeah, I don't know
I mean,
which.
it's quite obvious when you see all these highlighted transactions or corrections that, I mean, this is something that needs to be fixed, so it's not having to be fixed every year redundantly. And I don't know where it lies, but it sounds to me like maybe it's a CIC thing. And I
I
don't
can
know.
start with a ticket.
Which
and
I had
see
offered
where-
way back to reach out to CIC, and I think you guys said, no, it didn't make sense because you guys would have to be with CIC in front of because I don't have access to
That is
that
true.
system.
It's their office.
And
that
yeah,
sets
you
them
guys
up.
have said it probably makes more sense, so.
And if this is happening with other counties too,
Mhm.
it sounds like that maybe we could get more support, and it's like get a couple other counties to say,
And I
maybe
think-
a simultaneously that they would file for the same thing to kind of get maybe more.
And I do know it goes back like decades, like 40 years, that this has been an issue, so.
Yeah.
We didn't
I
have,
hate
we
those
did not
things.
have, yeah, we didn't have ATCI back then, that was an issue, so. More than likely, it could be a state issue too.
Well, I mean, that sounds like it would be a lot of man hours that's being redundant to fix the same problem every year. So
Well, and then it's also, we're all human. Someone can make an error.
sure.
So you make an error and it's the difference between one township getting the money and another one. When it goes through, so,
Mhm.
because those taxing units on this map are based upon. Where you live in the county and which taxing entity gets the funds. So. If you type in 001 for City of Atchison and it should have been 015 or a different one. The City of Atchison won't get the money, but the other one will. So,
Yeah, how many different taxing units are there? I mean,
what,
that is,
30,
I think there's more. Yeah.
40, 50.
At the back of the budget, I know that there's been a printing and then the code and just like you realize all the combinations of between cemetery districts, library districts.
Even though you and I don't live very far apart, ours are completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, so I see that there's a need for this. I'd really like to see a push for maybe get another county or two to see if they could jump on board too with it, so.
Jefferson County, I know, has CIC and they're just right down the road.
Mhm.
I don't know if you think you could reach out to the clerk there to see if they.
Yeah,
have any issues.
I reached out to several at conference and a lot of them were like, we just don't even touch motor vehicle in our office at all. It all stays in the treasurer's office. It just. They get compensated for it. It stays there. They process it all. But we're happy to do it. I just think it needs to be. So that it's actually working a fix versus just. Cause it'll take some time, but eventually it would get to the point where it's just the new ones with problems, not the same ones year after year after year.
Yeah, and so you go from a huge list to shrink it down to be very manageable.
Yes, it gets very manageable. So that's what, and Angie works these and she's like, it's like she sees her family members coming across, like, here they are again this year, so it's, yeah, I think it would be good I'm happy to reach out, and find other counties. See if people would wanna.
Cause we do have a CIC representative that's assigned to Atchison County as like a.
And if we can
Helper.
eliminate it and it's state, then we can
Right.
just pursue
That
that.
avenue.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the first thing we gotta do is identify where it's at. I mean, because maybe, like you say, it could be state, not CIC, so.
And it has been going on for decades, so that would lend me to think that it's the state issue. So.
So just so I'm clear, because I was reading the emails you guys were sending with us on it, and so Connie, you're willing to take this on as it was motor vehicle, right? Because I guess I just want to understand, because I guess I didn't realize motor vehicle went outside your office either.
Just
So-
the distribution, which we're not compensated for the distribution part of it. That's more like we're only compensated for direct customer services like a renewal or title work. Or a reprint, like those are the only things that we get compensation for.
So the distribution, does it make sense to come out of your office more than?
Well, they pull the reports together and then that way they balance. So I think, it's another one of those things for checks and balances. That the clerk's office has just always done it for years and years and years, and I think it is just something else because. That way it's not just our office looking at those numbers. And then something could be, if something is wrong, then it might be caught by another office.
Is that a statute item? Is that something we can look up and just say, this is the norm, this is
I don't think it's
statute?
statute who actually does it. I think it was just, the joke is there's 105 ways to do things in county government. Like there's no county that does things the same,
Well, my thought is if it is truly for checks and balances, then it should be written down somewhere that this is why we're doing this, because there's a reason for it. I don't know.
I mean, in a way, it seems simple. It seems to me like once the fix is identified, it could be plugged into the next year. So then that same thing, it recognizes that parcel, it's already been fixed. And it needs to be just be uploaded somewhere, so,
Cause you guys are working out of movers and CIC in your office? So,
And multiple CIC programs, 3 different CIC programs.
okay, which the ATCI is one of them.
The ATCI is the only purpose it has is to get the transactions from the motor vehicle system. Otherwise, there's a disconnect between the state and CIC. You would have to manually input thousands of transactions, and you don't want that. That's what ATCI is for, is to import them from the state program.
It reads the report from the state at night, overnight, and it kind of just translates it into figures so that we can pull the numbers for into our system, or the CIC system.
Okay. Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of it one way or another, cause staffing wise, we don't have staff to fix and refix and, I mean, it's not gonna work out, so. You guys will. Okay, so we're gonna check and see if it's a statute on checks and balances, and then if not, have the conversation of possibly putting it in your office, or you were willing on the email, so I'm just asking.
How much time do you think Angie spends on it?
I don't know, have to ask her, like, it's, I think she's working on it almost every day. I shouldn't say that, cause I think sometimes she batches her tasks and she'll spend like. whole day
This-
on there.
is there any way to
Is she gone?
be able to, once you have the fix or the correct address on there, then next year when that comes in, that we could have our own program that would recognize the,
No.
just the addresses to where it could swap that in?
I don't think so. Cause you're talking like a whole system inside of a system to find and replace it, and yeah, I don't think we would not be able to adjust someone else's program to do that. So you could ask CIC to do that, sure, but there will be a cost to do it. Because it would be custom programming at that point. It doesn't work that way for anybody else.
Or ask the state.
Plus, you gotta like think forward on it too. Those taxing units can change, so, if like 012 changes to 015, you would have to rewrite the program to find and replace it to 015, and I just think there could be other issues with that too.
How did you guys correct the other ones that were wrong? Cause there were,
We got a file from the appraiser's office that they had pulled out of Orion. And that linked the addresses with the taxing units, because those taxing units come from them to you guys to us, so that just matched it up more.
so they had been entered in with the wrong. Or they had been entered in with taxing units, like he just said, that used to be, that no longer existed, and they just haven't been.
There were a lot
updated.
that changed when
Mhm.
white clay went away a few years ago. What, like 4 years ago, I think white clay went away within the city of Atchison, so that changed city of Atchison taxing units, which was huge. So there have been other little ones, I think, that have changed. And so that seemed to correct most of those.
So like in the future, if we have a taxing unit change, we know. We
That
need
we
to
need
reach
to-
out to you guys,
yeah.
and you guys need to go through that.
Yeah, we need to upload that file again.
Okay.
So I can ask our CIC rep about sitting with someone when they do the import, but that will require them to be available when you're available at the same time and coordinating something. So that's the only thing I can think of.
And if you end up finding that it's a state problem, you could summarize that and like send it to us so that when we meet with state rep, like we can kind of reiterate your struggles of like, we gotta get this, we gotta stop spending time on these things and put some focus to correcting. I
Yeah,
mean,
we spend so much time on movers because that's a state program that's completely broken. And we spend so much time each day looking at different stuff that it's just. They've got to do something different on multiple levels.
So should the resolution for today be me email Christie with both of you two on it about finding a time or just explaining the situation and
See if she has had other counties reach out, yeah, and definitely at least check with them first, and I don't know, I mean, we could try uploading that file again. But we uploaded it several times that day, but we can put it on a rotation to upload a new file, definitely every 6 months or so. But it took an entire day to upload
To
the
upload
file.
it? I think it's mostly zeros. Like a lot of taxing, it's just zero.
Now, if that Orion file didn't have those in there, they were zeros, then that would cause that to be zero too. If the Orion file wasn't complete.
Ryan goes to movers that goes to ATCI. Is
We
that
had to, so we got the Orion report from the appraiser's office, we had to upload it to the state's portal. And then the state's portal did something in the background.
because every home, it's like if you go to register your vehicle, you have to put in your address where you live, where that vehicle resides. So that vehicle is tied to your home address. So if your home address in Orion or wherever is the wrong taxing unit, it's gonna pull through to motor vehicle as well.
Yeah,
Wrong.
did you check, cause like we've sent you like the screenshots of, did you check to see if any of those were wrong in Orion?
I guess, I don't have Orion, so I wouldn't be able to check Orion.
But when the file came over that you uploaded, you would have seen it on there, right?
Yeah, there were, we could go back and look at that, it was like 20, we'd have to do a search and do it, cause it was like 20,000 or more, it was incredible. But we're not able to go straight into Orion and look, that would have to come from the appraisers, so.
Well, I mean, we have access to Orion and but I don't know if we have access to the personal property side, just the real.
Wonder if there's a way that you can ask the appraiser to do some sort of query to find out if there's any properties with zero. That might alleviate all of the issue.
It might, yeah.
That's a good idea.
So if you could do that before I talk to CIC,
Reach out
because I
to
don't.
Mhm. Yeah, we can just, you wanna send her an email, include us on it, and then we can.
okay? So you guys will kind of dig in and then give us an update when things are,
Yeah, I would say. Probably a couple weeks, I don't know if. Because next week is the CIC conference that a lot of those staff will be at, so I don't know if we'll have a definite answer. If the appraiser's conversation doesn't pan out, by the time I hear back from that and hear back from CIC, it could be.
Yep.
For weeks.
The next distribution is the 20th of September, so.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, even if you corrected it today. That doesn't adjust
It won't. It won't go back.
anything. It's just forward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
while we're all here, are we caught back up on daily statements? Okay, awesome. That's something, hold on. With the auditor, we needed to do better of asking for updates on like what that looked like. I can't exactly remember. Maybe just,
Just to give you a report, it's some increment
yeah,
of time, I don't know,
just monthly to know we're up to date.
maybe monthly at some time.
And was caught up on her side, right?
I would assume so. I wasn't here yesterday, so. If you
Because-
brought him over, she does them right away.
So today's the 12th, so we're caught up from the 11th daily statements.
That's the one that we'll go over today.
Okay,
We're
so
always
it's a day in rear.
We're always a day behind. Okay, yeah, because we balance today for
yesterday.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. And we have all of our deeds updated.
She's handling those as they come over.
Okay.
daily.
Did you double check that, the one that we had for Dunsters? Cause it got missed. I sent you an email.
It got missed to being updated
Mhm.
from 24, like back to 24.
Yeah, I believe that
So-
deed changed in June of 24.
So it was, the only ones that we changed were on that list, like, that we changed retroactively, if that's what.
So that one didn't get changed. And
It might be changed for 25, but it might not have gotten changed retroactively. I only changed what was on that list and I wasn't gonna change anything other than what was on that list, just to be.
So there might have been some that got missed then.
That's
That
what I
one
was
did.
saying when I
Yeah.
gave, like, I am not saying that this
Mhm.
is complete. This is just what the system generated and these are the only ones we changed. There may be others that, everything's changed for 25. That list was the only ones that we changed for 24, because that came up with, that list was a reconciliation of a report of names that was going to go in the paper and a report of, all the deeds that didn't get changed. And I think, Pat, we ended up, it was like 1,200 that were on that list.
That one caught my eye
So-
because I know the people.
You know, the people.
And I know that they had paid, they sold all their Atchison County property and I'd been communicating with them about another property and so I knew it caught my eye and I'm like, that's not right. And so I went back and I looked and it had changed, the deed had changed in like June of 24, but it was still showing the old owners.
In
names.
24, not in 25, yeah. So, so I, being new, I may not have run that report, like there may have been a box that I should have checked to capture certain things that, I mean, I just was like, I'm not gonna say this is it, cause I've never done it before, so.
I did not publish that name. Cause that person had come in and paid another parcel, so. I believe the intention was there, but we didn't see it. We thought they'd all been changed, so we didn't see that one on our side either. So until I ran the report and it was just an anomaly. If I didn't know them, I might not have caught it.
Yeah.
And when is that publishing? That list?
I already sent it.
So it'll be this Saturday?
It'll be Thursday.
Or Thursday?
Mhm. It'll publish the 14th, 21st, and 28th. Globe is now Thursday published.
Yeah.
Publication date, so. And like I said, I did not include that one because I knew that it wasn't right, so.
Sounds good. More to come on that then, you guys, right? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Memorial Fall Agreement?
Right. We're talking about modification of the contract. I think this is a discussion that probably ought to be in executive session for the client.
Attorney client, minutes?
That's what was on the.
Yeah.
Sure, yes.
Okay.
Three commissioners. County counselor. Finance.
Can we do county clerk as well? If that's okay.
Thanks, James. We'll be back.
Oh, that sounds right.
I move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 10:49 AM for consultation with an attorney for the public body, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B2, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect the confidentiality of the discussion, and that the board come out of executive session in 20 minutes in the commission room of the courthouse basement, and those present will be three commissioners, county counselor, finance director, and county clerk.
Okay, I will second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Yeah.
Well, this started with a,
We're not there yet.
On the. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. We're not finalized.
Okay, we are back in open session. Next with R&R survey questions. I need that. Mine.
With that draft. Three from you, from what you sent last Tuesday.
I haven't updated anything
Oh.
since then. I mean, that's really what I came up with, so. It's a couple weeks that we said last time, instead of return on investment, use a different word on.
Okay.
But that was it.
Nope, and the math again did check out, so.
Did you send us your latest,
Mhm.
we have you have a copy of that somewhere? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
last
got
week.
this one, but I feel like.
No,
this
that
one
one's-
was prior.
It's Tuesday,
It was Tuesday.
last Tuesday, 8/5.
So that. With the property tax levied in 2026, is that where we're at currently with? At 68.951?
Uh-huh.
We've got a cut more.
For question 2. Um. Talks about a 3/4 cent sales tax.
Okay, yeah, so you wanna change that, I'm sorry.
Well, just based on the numbers,
Yep,
if the budget never increases, that's fine, but I think. Futuristic thinking, the budget is going to increase.
you gave us that snapshot this morning, so let's change that. If you don't mind wording.
Pull that up again. So that's the other thing of, the difference between 3/4 cent
Yep.
and 1 cent
Is gonna change all the math.
is bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have. It's an additional number, but yeah, it would change all of the math, so.
Do you mind updating?
No,
that?
that's fine.
That'd be awesome, just so I know that it's right. Yeah, I just used that based on
What we
what
have.
we had for joint communications in front of me, so I knew.
Do we want to keep 5 years? In the question?
I think because last week, didn't we go
Mm.
10?
Okay.
Yeah.
You changed ROI and you.
Yeah, it was replaced to just the word tax. So it said that need improvement and don't justify a tax on your dollars.
Okay, the only other thought I have on the county tax or that issue number 2. Do we need to put any information on folks coming in and those statistics that we looked at on these placer printouts? Do we need to? Are they gonna be able to make the connection and say this tax is helpful over? Because a lot of times in your mind, you hear tax, right? So,
You wanna bold and offset,
well,
or the word offset and capitalize or something? Something
to explain how you benefit from a sales tax versus property. Remember, because we've talked about the benefit, which is capturing Benedictine students, capturing those traveling,
Renters.
just folks coming in for retail, Walmart, folks coming in for the hospital that are gonna buy gas or he says, do we need to kind of help explain that a sales tax benefits in that way versus?
Well, I think we just had. If that was projected to bring in, what, the 2 million, whatever. Dollars equals so much of ad valorem. That way you could say this would potentially lower
property.
the mill levy by so much.
Well, I agree with that, but what I'm saying is go a little further and say that it not only lowers it, but
Captures.
the burden on you through a tax is not as high as it is because we have all these folks contributing to the sales tax revenue versus just property owners. So I don't know how to word that, but
Maybe just that at the end, like a sales tax is a beneficial funding mechanism that captures everyone who lives and resides in Atchison County and travels in or visits, sorry.
non-property owners.
Yeah, rather than just property owners.
We've got to do something because I just fear that showing them that we're replacing ad valorem with property is not enough. You need to explain how a sales tax,
Captures more of an audience.
well, yes.
And
Just
even
diversify.
people that are working or, managing 501(c)(3s, they pay, well, no, they don't, but I'm just,
Well, just like everyone knows, we have a big college population, we have the student population, most people in Ashland know that. So that's one example of 2,300 individuals, right, that can potentially help. Then all the other folks, like we talked about, transients coming through, traveling through, coming to Atchison just for retail and spending money and then going back out of the county, that sort of thing. But just a paragraph, just a 2 or 3, lines stating basically what you just said. I know I showed you these, but why don't you, well, pass that over to.
Sure.
If I'm not mistaken, those are
Visitors.
area codes or however they trace those, that's the from outside. So that's, what are they, is it? It's area codes, I believe, on their phones that they track. And that shows those folks that go to they visit places that are most popular in Atchison.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it gives you some idea of the impact that the college has, you know, 'cause it shows.
And I bet there's a direct correlation to the Benedictine numbers and Walmart too, like, it's
Sure.
just,
Yeah, exactly. Coming and going
yeah. Yeah, this is interesting.
outside.
Speaking of this, I have a chamber meeting tomorrow.
Good.
So I was hoping to ask them about this program, if the county were to, rather than funding, rather than appropriation, but we had this for then all the key people in the community, I think that would be a win.
Yeah.
I mean, it really would, and I was thinking over the weekend of other examples, and right now I'm drawing a blank of how we could utilize it for other things, but I just think, I mean, this is good, this is
Yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities with that.
so many possibilities.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I like that.
The. If the lake committee could use it, that, you know, there's just endless possibilities.
Send that to you, Mark. Just like some survey wording
Okay,
on that sales house.
okay,
Question.
got it.
Well, it's interesting. See, those are inbound area codes. Outside area codes inbound to those establishments. To kind of give you an idea. How many folks come in to and visit those particular places. Yeah, she saw it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's
Oh,
another.
you're fine.
Here's another interesting, so this one. It's a graph and it shows inbound. On specific throughout the year, but on specific dates. So look at July, and that's
Amelia?
Amelia, which you see that spike. And it kind of goes along with the data that we saw the other day. That showed the sales tax spike. And this must be, I don't know, Oktoberfest or something, you know, but. Yeah. So I would probably lean towards. You know, funding that if we came back
Yeah.
again and asked that question, because. Did you come up with anything, or do we need to add? something to
Susan
that?
came up with wording.
Did you?
Yeah, it sounded great.
Emailed it to all.
Okay,
four.
all right, perfect.
Edit it from there. It's a starting point.
Are we good? Do we wanna,
Let me recap my numbers or not.
yeah, sure.
Okay,
So will you just recap the changes and then we'll just
Yeah.
vote and move on?
so passing and anyway, passing a 1 cent sales tax for 10 years would offset approximately 12.02 mils by generating sales tax revenue estimated at 2,760,000. Using current numbers of the EMS budget, this would also provide funding for our EMS Rescues Capital Improvement Plan by generating roughly an additional $9,799,980
Over 10 years.
over 10 years, not 5.
Okay.
So the
Should we say, I'm just wondering, if I were reading that, I'd be like, why the heck do you need that? Like, should we do it on an annual basis? Of like, it
Sure.
generates this much more annually? Because that's easier to understand the need versus like, when I hear 9 million, I'm not connecting over 10 years. I'm like, whoa, you don't need an additional,
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think maybe the annual, because then when you can, and Corey's working on his updated CIP, when you could put it side by side, it's an, it makes sense. To see it more like that. What would it be annual?
so year 1 is 907,000
Okay,
extra. But that's the thing where I'm thinking futuristic. Year 2 is only
it's
832,000.
gonna dwindle.
Because as the more the budget increases, the more you take away from your surplus that you have at the end. So when we get to year 10, you only have 144,000.
And if they do determine, our community determines we need another bus staffed,
Right.
that's eaten up so
It's
quickly.
salaries, the ambulance itself.
Yeah,
There's also more things than just those ambulances. So remember we got that grant for the defibrillators? Those will need maintenance. They'll need
Okay.
more parts. I mean, the whole point of when we wrote the grant and secured it was we were gonna fund it in the back end too.
well, and I like with it being a dedicated, you have a separate fund. It's all accounted for every
Yeah,
dollar, so
Just
even if,
like- yeah.
even if you end up with a bit generating interest
Oh,
in
yeah,
income as you go, that could still alleviate taxpayers ad valorem for years to come beyond
Beyond.
that.
If
So,
this is done away with year 10, I mean, you still have
yeah, a
you're
plan
setting yourself up for
for
future years after that,
of relief, not just,
not just putting it back on the tax roll.
yeah, I like it.
I mean, that opens up more conversation. You could add a little back to the tax roll should you choose to incrementally, so it's not felt a big pressure all at once. But yeah, there would be extra interest added back to this. Just like it is with the other sales tax.
How does that work? Like you do a 10-year. And then you have carryover, or you have several million in the fund at the end of 10 years. And the tax isn't renewed. The residual or what's in the bank, that still has to be spent in accordance with the dedicated tax, no matter how long it takes to spend it out. Or how
Well,
does that?
I do think there's a statute that says that if you collect too much more than's needed for the project, that it goes to the general fund of the municipality. But in general, what we've always done in the past is continue to use it for that specific project. So even if it would be after the time period, I guess that would be ultimately a question for the board at that time.
I was just kind of curious what that looked like if you had residual funds, you just couldn't use it willy-nilly. It would still be tacked on to future EMS expenditures, and maybe you would, like you say, gradually increase. If you done away with sales tax at the end of 10 years, you would maybe increase over
Incrementally,
years,
little.
incrementally.
And this is also rescue, how it's written in here. So,
Cause it's all one. now.
right, as rescue wages or more calls continue to go up, I mean, there's funding that as well. And there's more equipment that they need too, that's outdated now, so.
Well, Mike, so back to that, so after the tax period ends, you're saying that it's up to the board?
Well, I am sensing
That
that you're
that makes me,
conflating that with
well, yeah,
the, what we have with the,
Mhm. yeah,
with the sports field. That is a different, that's a completely different, setup. With the dedicated sales tax, if the sales tax funds are in excess of what's needed for the project, there's a statute that says that those go to the general fund. There is no such similarity with the dedicated sales tax in the bonding procedure.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. Does it get too confusing? I mean, because your first line explains exactly what it generates and what it offsets.
Yeah.
And I think, to me.
Yeah, for 10 years, you're taking away 12 mils. In 10 years' time. I mean, you could divide that out by 10 to get how much per year it would be lowering, I suppose.
here's another crazy question, so. Would it be crazy to include like emergency management? Would it? Is that, I know that's under another department this time, emergency management, but just for the sake of saying, okay, so this is gonna generate extra funds. And I just looked at the budget, emergency management budget, and it would fit into that easily. And like, for instance, right now, Corey's second, he's the second charge. I mean, they're so closely connected that it would be another, according to this, I think the ask is $100,000 this year, so it would be another way to pull. I don't know, it's, that's a whole nother ball of wax, but you see where I'm going with this, because there seems to be so much. There's such a connection there between those two entities.
I think there's almost a danger too, if you, looks like you have too much overage that's not gonna be accounted for, the 900 and some, or the 1,000 the first year over what you're needing. I don't know if the public's gonna go for that. I don't know. I see where you're going.
Well, and this would help with that, because you could easily wrap that into the proposal. You could just say, EMS, emergency management, and rescue. Those three, to me, are, and I'm sure somebody out there could correct me, but they just seems kind of synonymous with one another. And it wouldn't preclude them from working with, the sheriff department, but what it would do is it would also fund it would fund their department. And take another $100,000 out of ad valorem is what it would do, so.
Okay, so this is what I think because of our timing. I think we need to survey the 1 cent. That's what we need to
Sure.
survey.
Yep.
And then reconvene, because I was just looking at, so this is blown out of the water, but Corey did have a 10-year replacement projection. And I mean, this is forecasting what a cost of an ambulance could be, and right, it's gonna do nothing but go up. So this is old information that's probably not accurate. But roughly a type 1 ambulance is estimated at a $270,000 investment. So that it gets eaten up fairly quickly, like, and then for instance, the cost of cot systems. This is one
Yeah,
year.
that's just the ambulance
Ye-
itself.
yep.
That's not all.
The
this.
life packs model defibrillators, which you would mention.
Mhm.
I mean, that can eat up 1 year of 215,000. So the stuff's expensive, and again, these are old cost estimates. A type 1 chassis estimated was 250,000 for the following year. So within 3 years, that's over 600 and some $1,000.
And rescue's not probably not
And not
included.
part of that, because this was before
Before,
any
yeah.
of that.
Well,
So,
that's a good point too, where you said we could survey
Yeah,
this.
this.
And that would be then when we come to actual, if it, during the process of actually wording the actual application for sales tax,
Yeah,
then we could actually debate whether that would go in.
yeah.
Sure,
I just,
sure, I'm okay with that. I just thrown it out there because
I mean, I agree with you that I think
Yeah.
that the more the better the fit without looking like there's too much overage, but there's no way of forecasting that out.
and also when he has these documents, like this was great to be able to look at, right? And he does have to update it now because things have been changed, but
Mhm.
he forecasted out, to 2034.
Mhm.
So having an updated that with rescue would align with, providing information of the why. Remember when we went to the Capitol that year and Osage County had the jail project and they had it like, this is why, and here's the numbers, and this is what,
Mhm.
I think it'll be easy to be able to articulate the why on it.
You had about the highlighted portion. If you didn't want to say all of it, that's fine. But what about just saying using current numbers, this would also provide funding for our EMS rescues capital improvement plan.
Yeah, I
Period.
like that. It's short and sweet because sometimes too much for
It's over.
someone that's not, I mean, we're in it every day, so it's easy for us to be like, oh yeah, we know it's gonna, but for the public that knows nothing, to read it and be able to understand it, I just think less is more.
And that's the same way with figures, because
Yeah,
to us, 900 and some thousand isn't a lot of money when you buying ambulances and stuff. But to the public, if they see that number, it's looks huge.
Mm.
And that's just being around these figures.
okay. Would you support a 1 cent sales tax for the next 10 years to offset property tax funding for EMS rescue?
I like it.
So do you want me to like type up these changes right now and then reprint a new one and you guys sign it, or just go with the rough? Whatever you guys approve. And I'm not gonna put anything in there that
Yeah.
that we haven't talked about, but
it's however you want to do it. Makes you feel better that you send us a final and we sign off. I'll do that.
no,
Yeah.
I don't need that.
You don't need it? No, I don't.
I don't need
I'm good. I'm good with it.
Okay, so final draft R&R, you're good?
I
Make
am,
those changes,
I'll
get
make
that
'em-
connected to the link,
yep,
and then we'll have our social media and our website, right?
Yep.
Push that out, like,
Yep.
so people know, hey, start taking this.
Yep.
And we'll have hard copies printed for our budget hearing. Can we have some?
I mean, you want,
I just think that, like, in case, if in case we have people that want to
Yep.
do it at our hearing, here's the survey, and leave it here.
It's 2 weeks and
But who's to say I mean, hopefully we'll get a lot and we can be able to articulate that at the
Mhm.
meeting too. We've already received this many feedback, we want to keep,
150?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the
50.
wording of that, where you said, would you support? I'm just wondering if you should say, would you be open to, and that might give you more information versus. Is open to and support are different. And maybe that's dumb, but
no, I mean, it makes sense.
You could always add an explain line like you did down here too, if you wanted.
some might people be like, oh, I'd be open to like hearing more about it, but what I support, not right at this point in time,
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know. Might
see
find-
what
I like it.
You should consider it.
Would you consider, would you be open to, or yeah, would you consider?
Can we change that?
Sure. Would you consider?
Yep.
Do we want a please explain or a thoughts or some line?
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to put 100?
Maybe not
Maybe 50 is really plenty.
50.
And then,
People might just take a picture of it too, or just get the QR code up here and do it later at home or
and
something.
if we have leftovers that night, we can also distribute them to the coffee clubs or whatever to make sure people know.
Okay,
People like paper.
I'll work on it this week.
Quick update on our statements, they are to go, they're printing, they'll go to the mail on Friday. Plan, the schedule plan.
Right, so that is the last of that. We have our Atchison County hearing to exceed revenue neutral rate, 6 p.m. in Memorial Hall. No introduction or consideration of resolutions, no need for additional executive sessions. So I would look for a motion. Okay, so let's go over what's next week really quick while we're here together. Next week is the 19th. And so far we have Justin Prejean Pomeroy Development Moderate Income Housing Grant Sponsorship and Commissioner Knoll with the Area Agency on Aging Board appointment discussion. So, okay. I would look for, and then this is it, correct? For budget. I mean, what do we need to do next week as far as that goes?
I think this is probably it.
This
I
is
mean,
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got a list of stuff that I've kind of compiled and thought maybe we should review again. But other than that, if there's no more other changes, I don't have anything else to recommend.
Okay.
So,
Second.
but that doesn't mean we can't come in the 19th and you say, I want this change, do it now. Yeah, we'll change it. And have a better plan, but
Well, then there's,
there's still time on the 26th during the regular meeting too.
right, but then how long do we have after the R&R hearing that if there's our minds are changed to do things, when does the final then have to be after? that?
October 1st, which is a Wednesday, it has to be to the county clerk. So I guess
Okay.
technically
All September?
September 30th would be your last commission meeting day. We could still make any changes that day.
But ideally,
Yeah, ideally, you probably want it like September 16th, maybe would be the last time. So that Susan has the proper documentation, she can do her next steps, but
I think the goal would be to get it to the treasurer sooner rather than later, because her date has been moved up.
oh, that's right.
So if I stick with my deadline, then
It's shorter for
it's
her.
really shorter for her, and I think it would be better for all of us to try to shift forward that couple weeks. to
And wasn't
give
it,
her,
didn't her deadline move from December 15th to December 1?
yeah, like 2 weeks. So I think if we can all try to shift forward 2 weeks, that keeps.
Which I mean, that should be totally obtainable. I mean, we have our hearing with the public on the 26th
Mhm.
and hear what they want us to do. And then we have basically 3 weeks to get it done. So,
Now, I don't know what I have to get back from other entities too. It's not just.
Yeah, they do have until
Yeah.
October 1st
Yeah,
technically,
so-
so they could,
I may not get them, but
but if you had hours,
could have everything, like pretty much everything buttoned up and then.
Yeah.
Pop in, but I'll start reaching out to them too, to ask them to.
Do you have a list of the other entities that are not exceeding R&R?
I,
Are exceeding R&R?
yes, I do. It's on my other computer, but, and I can't.
Okay, you might just send it to us.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
kind of be interesting to see what
Yep,
that looks
I
like.
can, yep.
One last question, with Mr. Coon at, KDHE, do we want to? I mean, his last correspondence with us was on Thursday, July 24th, saying, he will keep us informed. So do we want to just let him ride?
I don't know. I mean,
I was just thinking
I kind of thought there'd be something going on by now, but
the 19th or the 26th would almost be a month, so maybe. Should I just follow up and say, hey, would you be able to provide an update?
Or just say, hey, any updates?
Okay,
And I think maybe one.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of
okay.
low
I'll do
key
that.
at first.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect. I will make a note of that.
Some of that would take a while to plan,
Oh.
to coordinate. Staff and everything. And we need to make sure that our staff, solid waste coordinating with them when they need.
Yep, I gave her a heads up and they were on the together, so.
Okay.
Yep. That'll be in his court to communicate with her. Awesome. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we will look, or I would look for a motion to adjourn into budget workshop. With Mark Zeltner for the rest of the day.
Some of.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 3-0.